selection of interior design materials is truly one of the most important steps of the interior design process. This branch of design is a wide topic, and there is a world of information that interior designers should know to correctly source and select interior design materials. In this video, I'm going to share one of the most important steps of material sourcing and material selection for interior design, and why it is so important to know how to specify, how to select, and how to choose the materials for the built environment. Let's get right into it. I feel like it's timeless, which to me it's super important when you're choosing tile. This is gonna stay on your wall for, what, 10 years? If you really think about it, interior design is all about materiality. Even if you have the best floor plan arrangement, the best space planning solutions, if your materials are not thoughtfully selected, the whole design can be compromised. Every material has a purpose, a function. The first step into material selection should be based off the appropriateness of the material for the specific application. If a material is beautiful, that doesn't really matter if it's not appropriate for where it's going to be located, where it's going to go in the project. Some of the questions that I like to ask myself when I'm sourcing materials are, what's the location? Is it going on a wall? Is it going on a floor? Is the material going to be in a high traffic area? Is sustainability a concern for the clients? What about maintaining that material? Is that material going to be well maintained just by cleaning it, or does it need some specific type of maintenance in order for the material to last for as much time as possible? A very important question to ask yourself, and something that sometimes gets overlooked, is how easily is it to replace that material? If we're talking about tile, for example, it would be easier and more affordable to replace a 12 by 24 tile than to replace a 48 by 48. So all of these things have to be talked about to select the materials that are truly going to be appropriate for where they are going and that are not going to bring trouble for the clients down the line. When you're choosing tiles, something that's very important is the anti-slippery resistance. I had a project where there was going to be a lot of traffic, so it was a high traffic area. I chose this material, and it turns out that they didn't have any information on the material. If something happens to the tile and it does not meet the specifications for the project, that would be a complete disaster. I love going hunting for new materials, for new projects. It's one of those things that are so exciting in the interior design field. One thing that we forget about sometimes is how much of that material do I really need? We go on hunting for materials, we see something that is beautiful and we want that right away. And then it becomes an issue when you're trying to see the availability of that material, and it turns out that either they do not have enough product, enough square footage of that material, or it's going to take a considerable amount of time to arrive to your site. And in many cases, if the material has to be brought from across the country, from across the continent, all of those things also play a role in terms of cost, in terms of timelines, and ultimately all of these little factors end up affecting the project and how feasible your selections really are. The only way to test if you really know your material is when you are writing a specification for it. If you are not familiar with specification sheets, they are documents that interior designers put together with all the information for our interior design materials that are going to be part of a given project. Depending on the type of project and depending on the type of material that you use, these documents are going to have specific fields to fill out about that specific material that you are specifying. If you are into architecture or engineering, you have probably heard from the master format. The master format is a gold industry standard for organizing and communicating specifications and work. Interior designers not always generate this type of specifications because most of the time we do not work on large-scale projects, but we still need to provide these specifications and all the pertinent information for the materials that we are going to be using. So sourcing that material and installing that material can be as seamless as possible. I'm creating a template for my materials, and I think this is working just fine. I would have the material picture here, and then here I would have the name of the material, like if it's tile or if it's fabric or whatever it is. And then I just want to have everything depending on the material that I am specifying. I think it looks pretty clean. Well, aesthetics is what we always think about when we are choosing materials. It's what we think of first before anything else. And this should really come after the other points that I've just mentioned. Again, if your material is so beautiful, but it's not available, it's not appropriate, then your job as an interior designer is just halfway done. But when you find a material that is so stunning, so beautiful, that is available and that is appropriate for its use, for its location, and even better, a material that's coordinating with your design concept and a material that is matching with other materials that are going to be in that space, it truly feels like a dream come true. Material schedules are another way of specifying materials, and it's basically a table where all your materials will be contained, and they are normally attached to your construction drawings. I like using schedules when there aren't as many materials and there is no material that is kind of a special type of material. But if there is so much information about one single material and I don't want any mistakes or any misunderstandings, I rather just have single specification sheets for each one of them. I am creating a specification sheet for the materials that I use the most because I kind of want to automate the process. So I want to have a template where I can just fill out the information whenever I need it for the materials that I use the most. I'm going to be making more of these templates and I will share them with you. So if you are interested in getting updates on these templates that I'm creating, you can register your interest in my website link that is in the description of this video. And if you want to download the template that I am using right now, I will give you also access to that. I have created this template in Canva. So click on the link below that says Canva template and you can have access to what I'm creating. It is still a work in progress for me, but I thought I'd share that with you in case it is useful for you. So that is really how interior designers should specify materials, and it is a whole different world. And it is so important for us to know what specific materials are we using for our projects. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if you learned anything new, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.